The French President Emmanuel Macron, Emma, has been meeting with his Ukrainian counterpart Volodymyr Zelenskyy. That's ahead of another meeting of the so-called Coalition of the Willing. This is a really interesting topic, I think, because you've got European leaders essentially trying to fill the void that has been created by the United States, saying, hang on, Europe, you have to sort this out. Let's get more on this now with our Europe correspondent, Catherine Diss. Catherine, lovely to see you there. What have the leaders been saying so far?
Good morning, James. Well, look, President Volodymyr Zelenskyy arrived to a warm welcome from a close ally. A band was playing as he walked across the courtyard towards the Elysee Palace, where he was greeted by the French President Emmanuel Macron. They hugged, shook hands, smiled for the cameras before they entered the palace for bilateral talks and a working meeting ahead of that coalition of the coalition meeting of European leaders tomorrow. They both addressed the media. Macron spoke first. He offered Ukraine $3.4 billion in additional military aid. He also said that tomorrow's meeting of the Coalition of the Willing would discuss ways to ensure that a ceasefire would be lasting and that peace would be ensured for Ukraine. He also said it would give Kiev the capability to resist on the ground on its own. President Zelenskyy thanked his French counterpart for the additional military aid and all the support that France has given to Ukraine. He also spoke about those talks that were held in Saudi Arabia earlier this week and the Black Sea deal, urging the US to put pressure on Russia to abide by agreements met. He said that fair and favourable sanctions shall remain and increase as long as Russia remains in his country. Let's take a listen to what President Emmanuel Macron had to say.
It is necessary to continue to support Ukraine for it to resist, and I announced today an additional €2 billion of military support by France to Ukraine. This €2 billion of support is part of our the overall package, and we will tomorrow mobilise our other partners to continue to support Ukraine.
That's the French President Emmanuel Macron speaking there in Paris. And Catherine, what can we expect from the meeting tomorrow?
Well, look, so far these meetings, James, this is the fourth to be held this month, have been behind closed doors. We've had very little detail as to what's being discussed, but we do understand that the leaders who are meeting tomorrow will be trying to thrash out practical ways to ensure that a ceasefire agreed to does remain lasting. And we got some more information on that today from President Emmanuel Macron. We expect them to speak about possible deployment of peacekeeping troops, what that will look like, which countries will contribute, whether or not the United Nations will collaborate that response. We also anticipate that they will be discussing a possible demilitarised zone between Ukraine and Russia, which will be surveilled from the air by satellites and drones. But while this coalition of the willing determine what they'll be actually able to achieve, the fact that they're happening is important. It sends a strong signal to the United States and also Russia that Ukraine does have plenty of allies and that Europe has not yet turned its back on Ukraine.